it's been another long week, so why don't we just settle down and chat? Yeah, let's get right to it. Yay. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm in pretty good spirits today. Yeah, this week was a lot better than last week, so, you know, I guess things are back to normal, and I'm really happy that's the case. Yeah. But first, before I talk about myself, how are all you doing? Like, how are your weeks? What did you get up to? I'd really like to know, because, you know, yeah, that's what we do in this chatting place. That's what we do. Yeah. Did you get up to anything fun? Did you manage to do something new? You know, I'd really like to hear about it and stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'll talk about myself in the meantime while you're all typing your messages and stuff, and, you know, so while you're all gathering your thoughts, oh, they're popping up right now. Never mind. I'm okay. My class has started, and it's a little hard to settle down after vacations. Been pretty good, strangely. Got a wisdom tooth removal looming, but I ain't worried. I participated in that How to Draw Anime Cover Redraw Challenge. Oh man, I feel you with the wisdom tooth removal thing. You know, I've been needing to have my wisdom teeth removed since what was it? Last summer or something like that. It's not super bad right now. Like, the problem's not super bad right now. I'm not in pain or anything, but you know, I really would prefer to get them removed sooner or later. Initially, you know, the plan was that I'd head back home to England and I'd get them removed there. But for obvious reasons, that did not happen. So, because of that, you know, I think I probably have to wait till the end of this year to get them removed, or even this summer. But yeah, you know, I prefer to have them removed sooner or later. I hear that getting them removed isn't like super painful though, if you know, go under anesthetic and stuff. It just requires a bit of time to recover, but after that, you're pretty much golden. Yeah. As for you, Dave, yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. Like, fairly recently, I had a 3-day vacation. You know, that was my spring break, just a long weekend. That was it. And just kind of after that long weekend, you know, it was a little kind of, you know, it's probably not as, large scale of a transition back into school as yours was, but like, yeah, it definitely took a bit of getting used to try and get back into the routine of getting into classes after like an extra day's break and stuff. So there was that. Yeah. Pulling my hair out because a cold spike has killed most of the crops and probably all the flowers in my trees. Oh no, that's awful. Oh, I don't know too much about gardening, which is ironic given that I'm a cactus fairy and stuff, but, but, yeah, I can imagine how much that would, like, I wish I could say more, I wish I could say more on the matter or say more on how to help, but in all honesty, like, I don't know the first thing about gardening, so I can only give you my, like, condolences and stuff. That must really fucking suck. I'm so sorry. Also, I'm happy because Zombieland Saga is back. Oh yeah, that's true. I was reading the preview guide for the Anime News Network summer 2021 preview guide, and I heard that Zombieland's, or was it spring? I don't know. I think it's spring. Anyways, Zombieland Saga coming back is like really nice and stuff. It's good to see more of the cast getting back in action. I still have to get to that show because it looks like a lot of fun. I think it'd be really up my alley. With its kind of madcap, it's madcap's sense of humor and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, no, I think now more than ever, I definitely need to check that out. You know, actually, it's interesting because this week is, speaking of anime, this is the first week that I'm not going to be able to like talk about like recent anime releases or recent streaming anime and stuff, because Wonder Egg Priority is not going to stream its final episode till like June, so I can't really say anything more on it till that happens. So yeah, you're not gonna be hearing my thoughts, my hot takes on that show for a while. For better or worse. But in the meantime, you know, I've been kind of trying to rediscover some old passions and stuff. So yeah. My week, so yeah, you know, so I've been just kind of trying to rediscover all old passions, enjoy the spring weather and stuff, because, you know, the weather recently has been really nice. Like, today was actually super nice. I didn't need to even wear a coat. And I went out for a walk, like, twice because of how good the weather was. And I feel, like, super rejuvenated and happy. Yeah. I'm really happy about that because I love warm weather more than anything. It's so nice to work in. Yeah. My week was okay. I'm drawing, playing the guitar, watched Fate Heaven's Feel Spring Song. Oh, no spoilers, but how did you find Spring Song? Because I'm beginning to watch the Heaven's Feel trilogy myself. And I just want to know what your non-spoilery thoughts were on Spring Song, since it recently got the Blu-ray release. I'd really love to hear that. Yeah. Also, thank you, Dave. Thank you for the really kind comments on the way I draw Saber. Thank you so much. She's like one of my two. I probably said this a billion times, but she's like one of my two favorite servants in the entirety of Fate. The other one's Nero. And, like, I really love her. She's so cute. She's so cool. There's a lot to love with this. There's a lot to love with Saber. She's a phenomenal character, and I think she's one of the few, like, mascot moe characters, like, breakout moe characters, that really deserves her place, you know, her place in, you know, and her popularity, because she's a really fantastic character, and she's really endearing and cute, and she's a phenomenal take on the King Arthur figure as well. I really love her. Yeah, rejuvenated Mado. Someone must have watered the cactus. Yeah, indeed. Speaking of which, I've got water right here. Can you hear it? Yeah, I've got water. I'm being quenched. My thirst is being quenched. For now. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was great. It's great. This week was good. Yeah. Saber's a brand unto herself. Oh, no doubt. Like, with all the Saber faces and stuff and whatnot. Yeah, no. Saber's kind of like... How do I put this? So, if the, I think if the 90s anime poster girl was, like, Rei Anayami, and the sheer number of characters who were kind of based off of her, you know, kind of appeared and stuff, like these kudere, very cold, mysterious, well, not so much cold, but like very emotionless, mysterious girls with supernatural pasts and stuff kind of surfaced a lot in the 90s. I think Saber was what really started the cute lady knight, well, not so much cute, the like gallant lady knight, blonde lady knight trend and stuff. Like, I don't know, if you see a lot of anime and manga and visual novels and stuff nowadays outside of Fate, you can see that quite a lot of them are trying to have their own Saber. But I don't feel like very many of them quite capture the magic that, you know, Saber has and stuff. Yeah. My favorites are Tamamo no Mae, Mordred, and Kiyohime. Oh, Mordred's good taste. I've actually got to watch, I've got to watch Apocrypha because I really love Mordred. They're really funny and cool. And I really like how they're, I really like how they're characterized compared to their, like, mythological, counterpart in the Arthuriana. Like, usually speaking, when you look at a lot of King Arthur adapted works, and stuff, Mordred's generally kind of portrayed as this kind of one-dimensional villain character and stuff, who's just kind of caused problems on purpose for everyone. Whereas, you know, while Mordred in Fate does have shades of that, it's really because they're kind of like, you know, facing like a lot of identity crises and stuff, like about whether they want to be seen as a good knight or a villain and stuff like that. Mordred's just like a character who kind of tries to embodies a lot of gray areas, and I really like that. I love Mordred. Murdead's very cute. There's no law stating that it... Okay, let me see. Penguin Drum is coming back. Kind of. Oh yeah, I heard about the Penguin Drum Kickstarter too. I'm super excited. Did you know that the Kickstarter got, like, funded for the movie? Got, like, funded in 3 minutes? I'm, like, super excited because, Penguin Drum's actually my favorite Ikuni anime. Sorry, no shade to all the people who like Utena and think it's better, but, like, Penguin Drum's the superior, Ikuni anime. I think a good part of that for me is because, like, I prefer the character designs in Penguin Drum and a lot of the aesthetics, and I feel like I'm more, I do kind of, I do have some sort of attachment to the themes of Utena, like, as a woman and as a lesbian, I feel like with, you know, Penguin Drum hits me harder because I also have a very close relationship with my family too, and just seeing, like, seeing what's her name, seeing the family, seeing the main family just try and stick together, just a whole group of outcasts trying to stick together and show each other love and stuff, is, you know, in spite of everything, is like, yeah, it's, oh, Himari, Kanba, and Shoma, yeah, those 3. I get very emotional about them up, and the ending really made me cry. Yeah. Also, the soundtrack is phenomenal as well. Like, I really love the I really love Yukari Hashimoto. I think it was Yukari Hashimoto score for it, especially for, like, Children of Fate and Sea of Tears and stuff. It's just got a really phenomenal soundtrack. Yeah, Penguin Drum's so good. Oh, Takakura family. Thank you for reminding me. I'm not the best with remembering names, so I need a little bit of prompting, unless, like, I know the characters super well. Yeah. Oh, actually, you're right. You know, I hear you mentioned earlier with regard to the whole Saber Ray discussion. Yeah, no, Haruhi was another big one too. You don't really see a lot of Haruhi clones anymore, but you're seeing a lot of Saber clones pop up even now, and I think a large part of that is because, you know, Fate has lasted so long as a franchise, like, unusually long. Like, and I personally think that's a good thing, because I really love Fate, but... And I'm always keen on seeing even more Fate stuff. It rules. Fate unironically rules so much. But how do I put this? Like, even now, like, you look at stuff like Genshin Impact and stuff, and you see a character like Jean, or you look at games like Sidorica Sunset, and there's this one character, I think called I'm trying to remember, actually. I'm trying to remember. In Sidorica Sunset, there's this one character who's voiced by Ayako Kawasumi, and she's so blatantly a character who takes a lot from Saber. And then there's, like, you know, a lot of those lady knights that you see in light novel anime, like isekai light novels and stuff. Actually, you remind me of another blatant Saber spinoff from this one anime called Recreators that was pretty popular, I think, back in 2017. That was a really interesting anime because you had a lot of characters who are kind of, like, you know, heavily based off pre-existing characters in franchises. And, you know, there's this one lady knight who is pretty blatantly like Fate Zero's interpretation of Arturia characterization-wise, but appearance-wise she resembles more of Lancer Arturia, just because she, you know, is on a horse and she has a big lance and stuff, and yeah, you get the idea. Saber's a pretty huge breakout characters, yeah. I'll be honest though, most of, you know, as I said before, most of the Saber XPs don't quite hit like the original Saber does. It is true, you know, as the saying goes, it is true that some to quote Fate itself, that some imitations can, you know, outpace the originals. Outpace the originals. It's absolutely true. Like, if you think about it, Fate is kind of that for the Japanese novel series Makai Tensho. Yeah. but it manages to do enough with its own setting to become its own thing, and I think that's what makes Fate special. That what makes Fate has its own charm. Like, it does have a lot of blatant influence from Makai Tensho, but it's kind of its own thing as well, and it clearly is that. Likewise with Mother and Undertale and stuff. Like, it's clear that Undertale as a game has a lot of Mother influences, but it has enough of its own characteristics that makes it to make itself separate from the Mother series. Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say regarding, this is just, I'm just going to read out this earlier comment because I missed it. Sorry. Well, I'm just going to say I cried a lot. The voice actors did an incredible job. The characters had splendid developer and savor. Just savor. You know, yeah, I'm kind of bracing myself for watching Heaven's Field 2 and 3, because, like, I know that Saber Alter gets, like, a really good fight scene in Heaven's Field 2, and I saw one spoilerific screenshot of her from Heaven's Field 3, so I know for a fact that when I get to Heaven's Field 3, I'm probably going to be emotionally wrecked, because, well, let's put it this way. To all people who've read the Fate Stay Night visual novel and stuff, you know the fight between Saber Alter and Medusa and what happens after that. What happens between Shiro and Saber after that. Yeah, the way that scene was interpreted in Heaven's Field 3, I saw a screenshot from that. I don't think I'm going to get out of that emotionally unscarred. Like, when I saw that scene in the original visual novel, I was, like, sobbing, because I was like, Saber! Yeah, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. I'm really not ready for that. Ugh. God, just thinking about Saber makes me so sad. Ugh. Before I go on that tangent, though, hi Gigi, thanks for coming along to the stream. I just wanted to make a clarification. Yeah, I just realized the link I posted on Twitter was wrong. That's on me. That's not on anyone else. This is completely my fault. So, you know, if this stream is a little bit sparser than usual, it's on me. I gave everyone the wrong link. That's on me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was, like, super busy earlier this week, so, like, I was in a madcap rush to get all those tweets queued up and stuff, so I didn't have time to correct myself, and I made a big mistakey. Yeah. Yeah, it's on me. When I saw Saba for the first time, it made me think of Lady Agrias Oaks from Final Fantasy Tactics. Let me search her up. Hold on. Agrias Oaks. Or is it Agrias? Let's see. Agrias Oaks. Oh, I can definitely see the resemblance. Yeah, like these blonde swords women who are knights and have silver and gold outfit theming. I can definitely see the resemblance. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see it. It's interesting to see Saber's character get spun off and reinterpreted into different contexts, kind of the same way the Arthurian mythos did. Actually, yeah, no, that's one of my favorite things about Saber as, like, an interpretation of King Arthur, like, particularly in the context of FGO and stuff, like, just seeing how, like, different aspects of her, like Saber Alter, Lancer Arturia Alter, and Saber Lily and stuff represents, like, different interpretations of, like, the King Arthur mythos and stuff, and different what-ifs for her. That's really cool. I really like it a lot. I think it's really cool. And also how, like, Fate tries to, like, you know, tries to marry a lot of different, Arthurian, different texts in the Arthurian canons together, like the way they married Prydwen and Proudwen, the ship of King Arthur and the shield of King Arthur together. So they made it into, like, this shield that could transform into a ship, which was really cool. Or in Mordred's case, a surfboard. So I think that was really cool as well. Yeah. I think, I definitely think the way Fate has interpreted the Arthuriana is definitely one of its strongest points. It does such a really good job of interpreting the Arthurian cast and making them, like, up to date for a modern audience and stuff, and making them, like, really approachable too. And I especially have to commend the way Saber is handled, because she makes this character who's usually just kind of this perfect king figurehead or, you know, this kind of figurehead for this kind of cipher and stuff, and makes him a really, like, human, and makes King Arthur, like, a very human and flawed but really sympathetic character as well. I know that Saber isn't the only one to do this. Like, there are, you know, books like The Mists of Avalon or whatever that have all sorts of a variety of interpretations on King Arthur, but in my personal opinion, Saber is probably one of the best. I really love her. She's really good. The only thing that bothers me about Saber isn't a flaw of hers. It's the fact that I'll never be as good of a wife as Shiro. Agreed. Yeah, like, as much as we all want to, like, Saber to, you know, as much as we all want to, you know, date Saber or, you know, daughter her, in my case, like, I just feel, like, very motherly feelings towards her. But as much as we all want to, you know, express our affections towards Saber, Shiro is undoubtedly a really good match to her. It's interesting because, like, when I was starting to read the Fate route, I did not have that opinion at all. My opinion was, oh no, Saber should never be with Shiro. I think Shiro's just a generic, like, harem visual novel protagonist and stuff. But, you know, reading through Fate Stay Night and actually getting to learn about Shiro made me realize, actually, I'm completely wrong. No, Shiro is great. Shiro's awesome. I love my apron boy. And he is a very good housewife for, Saber. Yeah. There are not many boys in the world who can cook and clean and do house chores like he does. And he's really cute. I love Shiro. He's my messed up son. It's also interesting too, the reason I like him and Saber a lot as well is because, like, they both have very similar kind of mindsets towards, like, heroism and towards, like, you know, achieving their goals and stuff. And Saber's more coming from the point of view of someone who's already tried to achieve that goal and believes she failed in achieving that goal, whereas Shiro's starting out on that journey of becoming what it means to become a superhero and stuff. So yeah, I find that very interesting, and I find it also interesting how they both have very little values, or show very little value for their life and stuff. You know, it's as it said in Fates at Night, in, like, the Fuyuki Grail War and stuff. Servants often get summoned based on how compatible they are with their master. And you can generally, and generally in the Fifth Holy Grail War and stuff, servants generally do have, like, a very strong compatibility with their master. Like in the case of, say, Medusa and Sakura. In the case of Medusa and Sakura, like, it's both the fact that they kind of perceive themselves, they both suffered, like, very horrific abuse during their lifetime. And the both of them kind of perceive themselves as kind of monsters and stuff. There's that, or there's, like, the relationship between there's the relationship between Zoken and there's a relationship between Zoken and Hassan of the Cursed Arm, and how they both, you know, kind of have a very, they both have a close relationship with death, but in different ways. Like, Hassan is kind of, you know, he's kind of someone who has perfected the art of assassination from birth until death. So he very much embodies being death, whereas Zoken's only goal as of now is to Zoken's only goal now is to just keep on living as far as he can, because as long as he can, because he's forgotten his original goals for the Holy Grail War of, like, wanting world peace and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. When I was a kid, I wanted a Digimon so he can be my best friend and fight evil, and now I want a Fate Servant so he can be my best friend and fight evil. Yeah, no, I feel like Fate is very much captures... I think one of the big appeals about Fate, for me, is that it very much taps into that kind of, sense of, like, having a partner, having a dedicated partner help you along the way, like, a dedicated partner and stuff. But it's kind of more with a more adult, more mature setting in mind. It kind of has, like, a lot of the appeal that a lot of the, Mon series, like Digimon and Pokemon, have, but it's kind of more oriented towards adults, and there's kind of more of a philosophical and, historical mythological bent to it too, which is, you know, makes it have a kind of more mature appeal, which I really like. Yeah. And I think, you know, as someone who used to be a Pokemon kid myself back when I was like 10, 11-ish, Fate Stay Night has kind of really, well, the Fate series in general has really tapped into that, only now it's with hot historical and mythological figures. Yay! Fate is very similar to the old Mon series. I think there's an actual Mon Fate game, but it's sort of a gag. Yeah, there is. That's Capsule Servant. It's a kind of it is very much a gag. It was I think there's like an app game version of it now, but initially it was kind of like a tie-in with like the PSV, with the portable version of Fate Hollow Ataraxia. So yeah, there is a kind of Mon game with it, but it kind of is like, it's Mons, but it's also like with it's also with like a kind of Battle Cats-esque tower defense mechanic. Yeah. So it's kind of like a mixture of that. And I guess Fate Grand Order also kind of taps into that as well. Kind of like being a gacha game where you kind of use a team of 6 servants and kind of, you fight against the, fight against the evils of humanity, and you fight to correct human history and save humanity and stuff. And that's really cool. Yeah. Actually, something else that's really cool, speaking of FGO and stuff, Speaking of FGO and stuff, like, there's one kind of meta piece of lore that I really love, personally. Like, you know, I know it's kind of just, like, justifying the gacha mechanics and stuff, but, you know, I personally really love it because it adds flavor to, like, why certain servants will come to you versus why certain servants won't. And it's like, you know, how do I put this? I think in one event, Da Vinci specifies, oh, so, like, you know, servants, you know, you can call out, like, when you're going to a summoning circle and stuff, you are, like, basically sending out an invitation towards those servants, sort of. And, you know, it's up to them whether they choose to respond to your summoning. So if they choose to respond to their summoning, it's basically like they like you enough that they want to respond to your call and they want to help you fight and save humanity with you. And I think that's really cute, because it's like, because, you know, the FGO experience is different for every player, but it's like, oh, why is this heroic spirit coming to me so frequently in the gacha? And the lore justification is because they really like you and because they really want to help you. Yeah, which could explain all the Artorias I have in the gacha. Yeah, no, I'm a bit of an Artoria collector. I think I have all of the Artorias minus, like, the mysterious heroines and stuff. And, Somersaulter, but, you know, I'm fine without I'm fine without them because they're more jokey characters, but I have all the serious Artorias, which I'm really happy about. And I think once I start playing FGO seriously again, if I ever do, you know, I'll probably save my quartz for Castoria, because my god, Castoria is so cute. She is such a cute extension of Artoria. I love her so much. Yeah. It is a very sweet piece of lore. It is a very cute piece of lore. I love it a lot. It can also kind of explain, you know, interestingly enough, I logged into FGO like a couple of days ago just to check on my servants and stuff and to see how they were all doing, and I noticed that I had quite a few servants accidentally sneak into my Caldea while I was away, because I was completely unaware that I had a Tamamo sneak into my Caldea. Yeah, I had a Tamamo sneak into my Caldea, so now I'm kind of stuck with Tamamo, this level 1 Tamamo hanging around, and I also have a Mordred I got while trying to roll for Nero Bride, and and I have an Ozymandias as well. Yeah, they kind of came around. I'm not an Arturia simp, though. I just really... Saber Arturia is kind of more of my daughter. Lancer Arturia, on the other hand, I would simp. Yeah. Lancer Arturia is definitely a character I simp for. Yeah. Big boobies. Booba. Yeah. In all seriousness, though, I think what really started me playing FGO was when I was, like, playing for the first week, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna continue playing this game, and then, you know, I rolled the gacha, and boom, I got 2 5-stars in the gacha, and those gachas were, and those 5-star servants were Altera and Vlad, and they've been kind of mainstays of my FGO team, my FGO party ever since. Yeah. I really like them. I have a soft spot for both of them as a result. Like, I know Vlad is kind of a unpopular pick because he's like a weird arts berserker and stuff, but I personally really like him, and he's really fun to use for like farming and stuff. I love how like much his noble phantasm gauge can charge so quickly, and his noble phantasm is really his noble phantasm is really fun too. Kazaliki Bay! And Altera, I have a soft spot for Altera as well, like, but I mean, afterwards I played Fate Extella, and she's a really cute character. She's a really sweet character. I like Altera a lot. She's a good newbie. I love her. Yeah. I find it really hard to play gachas because daily gaming is not my thing. I'm still debating if I want to play 2 gacha games. I'm playing one and doing pretty well in it. I'm doomed to do it eventually. Well, here's my take. I feel like part of the reason I stayed with FGO for so long is because FGO is interesting because it doesn't require you to be, like, super active every day in order to, like, really enjoy it and stuff. It's a game you can really kind of pick up and put down at any time you want, and you won't really, like, experience power creep because it's not a super competitive game. You can really just play through all the Lost Belts and story chapters and stuff with, like, the servant party you have, and if you just level them up enough, even if they're just, like, bronze and silver servants, you'll do just fine. Like, yeah, you'll do just fine, because you're not, like, how do I put this? You're not competing against anyone else. It's just you versus, like, whatever NPCs the game throws at you. And I feel like that's more relaxing. It allows me to take things more at my own pace, which I really like. With that said, though, I feel like the events can be a little more time pressure-y because they only last for a certain amount of weeks, and you have to collect all your rewards if you really want to reap benefits. But, you know, you don't absolutely have to, and really the core appeal of FGO is the storyline. So even if you did go on hiatus and stuff, it's not a super big deal. It's really not. So that's kind of why I stuck with FGO for a long time, and why I'm maybe going back to it, because it's just kind of, it takes a very relaxed approach to gacha gaming. Like, it understands if you don't want to play it all the time, and it allows you to just kind of pick it up and put it down again as needed, which is nice. The only other gacha game I'm playing as of right now, like the only one I'm actively playing, is Cookie Run Kingdom. And, you know, I'm starting to feel a little bit of burnout with it, because while I enjoy it, and while there's, like, a lot of stuff to do, like building my kingdom and going through, freezing my cookies and stuff, you know, the new update has come out with, like, a new cookie and new story chapters and stuff, and I'm just worried that I'm gonna kind of, burn out and stuff. I'm worried that I'm gonna kind of burn out. I kind of expect myself to, because I burnt out with original Cookie Run as well. So, yeah, I feel like, you know, out of all the gacha games I play, FGO is kind of my main squeeze, even if I'm not an active player, because I still, you know, actively look up the new servants and look up the new storylines and stuff like that, even if I'm not an active player of the game. There's still there's a lot to do, and even if you don't play the game, you can still participate in a lot of ways, like, you know, watching the anime or, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, you don't need to play the gacha game to enjoy it. I like Genshin Impact, but it does not like me. You know, it's interesting you bring up Genshin Impact, because Genshin Impact was a game I really tried to get into back in, October, November-ish. And, you know, initially I was kind of captivated it because there's clearly a lot of effort and love put into it. Like, the character designs are really nice, the game is obviously very beautiful, and it's clearly inspired a lot by, It's inspired a lot by Breath of the Wild gameplay, which I think is quite pretty, but at the same time, I couldn't really get into Genshin Impact because I felt like the characters were not terribly interesting to me. I don't know why. They felt like just I don't know why, because, I don't know why, but the characters just don't feel terribly interesting to me. They just feel like kind of archetypes. Like, they straight up archetypes, but really well done archetypes in the sense that, like, they have nice budget and nice voice actors and stuff. So, obviously, because of that, you know, also because of that, they're gonna get a lot of, attention from people. But, I mean, using Jean as an example, let's use, Jean as an example. You know, Jean is kind of a archetypal example of kind of hot lady knight, I guess, the kind of Saber archetype, but I find her a lot less interesting than Saber because, you know, she just kind of embodies the lady knight's, the lady knight character, and she doesn't really do anything beyond that. She doesn't really, she doesn't really do much for me. And yeah, I know that there's a lot more info about the characters in their profile and their voice lines and stuff, but, you know, I don't know, it's not... I guess I'm gonna be kind of a hypocrite for saying that, because FGO does this to some extent as well. Like, you unlock more of, information about a character the more you bond with them and stuff, but, and you really get a lot of their lore from their profiles and from materials and stuff, but I don't know why, I can't really get into Genshin as much as I could with the FGO cast, and, I think maybe also the fact that the character, yeah. Also, yeah, the drop rates are hideous. Like, I know, again, FGO's, drop rates are not superb as well. Like, FGO's has kind of infamous drop rates, but even with FGO and stuff, like, you could argue that, like, well, the bronze... There are a lot of really charming characters in the bronze and silver range of servants, and they can easily carry you throughout the game, whereas, like, with Genshin Impact, you know, you really do need a team of, 5 stars in order to, like, really deal heavy damage, as far as I'm aware. Genshin seems like a game that takes way more dedication and time to get into than the average gacha game. I think there's that as well. Like, it feels like... I mean, for better or worse, it feels like a console game with gacha elements. That's what Genshin feels like to me. Like, it feels like something you really do have to kind of dig yourself into, something you really have to put your head into in order to thoroughly enjoy. And, you know, again, I feel like you could say the same thing for Fate Grand Order as well, but I guess the difference is that Fate Grand Order feels a little bit more compact. Like, it feels more designed for mobile players, whereas Genshin doesn't feel that way. Yeah. To me, FTP, that's totally okay. I don't feel particularly strongly about the character. Also, yeah, the starvation as well. Real. To me, FTB, is to suffer, and I don't even know if, the whales have it any better. Yeah, no, to me, yeah, I think that was what in the end really turned me off of Genshin Impact and stuff. Like, they kept on giving me weapons, and the only new character I got from the gacha was Xingqiu, and I really wanted more of a character like Barbara or God forbid Ningguang or Beidou. And, you know, because they were so stingy with the gacha rates, I was like, I can't do this, and I just, you know, kind of never went back, really. Hi! Yago? Is that you, Yago? I don't know whether you're the real Yago or not, but if so, hello! Thank you for coming along to my stream! Wow! Thank you so much! I'm just talking about, like, gacha games and stuff right now, like, about gacha games and about Fate and stuff, because, you know, I've been recently getting really back into, Fate Stay Night and stuff since I, got back into the Heaven's Feel trilogy, and I've just been having a lot of fun. Yeah. Having fun with that. Yeah. Also, Janky, just joined in. If we're talking gacha teen comps, FGO is great about it. Leonidas for life. Yeah, no, Leonidas is a pretty great bronze servant from what I remember. I also really liked his I really liked, how do I put this? I really liked seeing, He was really cool. God, I have no words. I'm at a loss for words right now. Leonidas is, he was really great in Babylonia. That's what I remember. I really love how he was like a very strong sort of emotional support for Matthew as like a fellow shield-bearing heroic spirit. That was really cute. I really loved that. Yeah. A lot of the 1 to 3 stars are really great because you got like a whole mix of like familiar faces in the franchise, like Hans Christian Andersen and who else? Ku. How could I forget Ku? Yeah. And Sasaki Kojiro, the savior of France, the legend of samurai. How can we forget? God, yeah, no, early FGO memes were something else. Like when Sasaki Kojiro was like seen as the kind of quintessential dragon killer aside from Siegfried and stuff. Yeah. You know, that was wild. Everyone started calling him like the savior of France, the killer of swallows, or like wyverns are as easy to kill as swallows, and like even the devs got in on that meme and they started making fun of it as well. That was really fun. Early FGO was wild. Yeah. Legend. Oh, yeah, also Spartacus is really fun too. How he calls everyone an oppressor and, like, his muscles bulging and whatnot. He's a really fun berserker, yeah. Lancers' names are always so hard to pronounce. I only recently learned how to say Cuchulainn, and even then that's only in 1 of 3 Gaelic dialects. I didn't realize there were 3 ways to pronounce, Cuchulainn, but I see what you mean. Like, you know, with, Meave, like, I definitely see what you mean. Like, you look at, characters like Skaha and, Meave and stuff, and you're like, their names are written so, differently from how, their names are written so differently from how they're, how do I put this? Their names are written so differently from how they're supposed to be, pronounced and stuff. It's one of those things I guess you have to get used to, though. Like, I don't know, yeah. Oh, Hans Christian Andersen is incredible, but he will never do Little Mermaid 2. Yeah, no, he will never do it. Never, ever. Not in a million years. Not even if Kiara prods him. Nope. Why is Spartacus so jacked? So jacked. Good question. I think he's jacked so that he can, like, defeat oppressors. I think that's the reason why. It's the strength of his muscles. They are filled with power and determination. Yeah. Also, Dave, Spartacus is only as buff as the level of oppression he faces. Yeah. Last bit on Spartacus. Sin was his chapter. If you know, you know. He's Superman! Yeah, they really gave him such a great role in Tin. I actually need to go and read that chapter. I haven't read any of the Lost Belts yet. I need to do that. I think I stopped actively playing after Dead Heat Summer Race and stuff. Because, like, you know, I was getting pretty burnt out. Yeah. You know, this is fate. I can't tell if Janky's kidding or not. I haven't gone into Apocrypha, so I can't tell you. Whether the whole thing with Spartacus getting bigger muscles the more oppression he faces is real or not either. Because that sounds like something that could very well be in Fate. That sounds like something that could very legitimately be a skill in Fate. Yeah. I think the FGO subreddit, or maybe even Nasu, said that if servants were given based on personality, Shiro would have gotten Spartacus, because they are both heroic meatheads. I think it was a discussion between, is it an Apocrypha discussion between, Nasu and Higashide, who's the writer for Apocrypha. I think that was actually talked about by the creator, and they did say that Shiro would have probably summoned Spartacus. Makes you think it's kind of a miracle he summoned Saber and Head, kind of like a very, very, well, you know, Saber isn't a meathead. She's not. She's a smart girl. She's a smart and strong girl. But she does have kind of self-sacrificial tendencies that can go a bit too far, like our favorite meathead, Shiro. Yeah. Ah, I love Fate. It's so great. Go! Yeah. Never forget Saber Lion. They should put her in FGO. I wonder why they haven't yet. That would be such a cute costume for Saber. She deserves more costumes. That would be so cute. Aww. Oh, what else is on my mind? Oh, right. I should talk about how I found Heaven's Feel 1, because I didn't really get a chance to talk about that yet. So, on Monday I watched the first film with my twin sister, since we've been meaning to marathon the series for a while, and I can safely say I really liked the first film a lot. Like Yuki Kajiura's score was, she did such a phenomenal job on the she did such a phenomenal job on the score, like making callbacks to the score she made in Fate Zero, and also just like the Heaven's Feel leitmotif is really beautiful too, and you know, I feel like there's this really neat sense of groundedness and of like, you know, of urban magic, urban horror that I think, you know, that is really captured in the Heaven's Feel film, and I really like that. I think one of my favorite things about the Heaven's Feel film is, like, you know, I know this is shown in other Fate series too, but I really like how it shows how like servants are really freaky in terms of like power and stuff, in terms of how they act. Like the whole fight scene between Assassin and Ku and stuff is a very great example of that, because you see Ku just casually run as fast as a speeding car on a freeway, and then, like, you know, split a tipped car with his lance, or like, you know, you see Saber casually punch Medusa into a wall and leave a dent in that wall. And it really goes to show how, like, freakishly strong and inhuman the servants are, much like how they're described in the original visual novel. And so that's a detail I really, really loved. It just really came across as like, wow, they're super scary. Another thing I really liked, I really liked the little slice of life moments too. Like, I know there are some people out there in the Fate fandom who are like, you know, the slice of life moments are completely unnecessary. Just get to the action already and stuff. But I feel like the slice of life moments in Fate really, you know, provide a good contrast to the heavier action and magic heavy scenes in each of the routes, because they provide this sense of tranquility. They provide this sense of, like, the characters just going about their daily lives, of what they do in their downtime. And it really helps the audience get more and more attached to them as characters. So I think a great example of that in the Heaven's Feel movie specifically is, like, well, I mean, of course there's the beginning where we see how Sakura and Shiro, you know, start to form their bond with each other, and you know, how they get closer and closer with each other. I think that was really good. And then I think there's also the scene where, you know, Sakura is kind of cooking on her own, and she's kind of at unease with Saber around, because she knows what Saber is, but she chooses not. She knows what Saber is, but she chooses not to speak up about it, so that Shiro doesn't have an idea that she's participating in the Grail War. And yeah, she's how do I put this? And there's this very strong sense of she's, you know, she's not at ease with Saber, but Saber kind of senses this, and she's trying to, like, you know, be good to Sakura. She's trying to, you know, break the ice with her and stuff, but you know, it's clear that they have some sort of tension between them because of them knowing who each other are. Yeah, and it's quite sad to see, but I think they're good for, like, the character development moments of Fate. Yeah. Let me see, what else? Oh, also, this goes without saying, but UFO Table's action seasons are so gorgeous. Like, yeah, I mentioned the Ku Hulane versus Assassin fight before. That's definitely the highlight of the film, but to be honest, all of the action scenes are really gorgeous. Like the panning cameras, the really gorgeous special effects, the way the 3D is seamlessly integrated with the 2D backgrounds and stuff. It's really lovely to see, and, you know, you just know that, the guys at UFO Table really want to make this adaptation of Heaven's Feel as good as possible. It's so good. I really love it. Yeah. UFO Table, like, what's particularly interesting too is that, like, for Unlimited Blade Works and stuff, where, you see a similar level of polish, they're working within a general anime TV budget. They don't have like a budget that's much higher than any general anime TV show. The real reason their shows look so good is because they have a really good 3D department, and they know how to seamlessly blend their 3D work and their backgrounds with the characters they animate. So that's why their work, so looks good. And yeah, there's also the fact that they just treat their animators really well too, and it shows. So as a result, you got a lot of passion in their works, which I really love. UFO Table's been just giving the Fate series the treatment it deserves. Now where's my Fate Root adaptation? Come on, I can't just live with the Dean State Night adaptation. Like, they made the Unlimited Blade Works anime. They made the Heaven's Feel trilogy. They gotta do it for Saber, man. They gotta make a Saber anime, because I would watch the shit out of it. I gotta do it for her. I would love to see how they'd, like, animate all those scenes. Yeah. Coming back to the Heaven's Feel movie, though, other things I liked. I really liked, the little callbacks to Fate Zero as well. Again, I mentioned this with the discussion on Yuki Kajiura, but I mentioned this with the Yuki Kajiura stuff, but I really loved, like, when Tragedy and Fate was playing, when Kirei was discussing with Shiro, and Saber was discussing with Shiro about Kiritsugu's role in the Fourth Holy Grail Wall, and as someone who has watched Zero, it just made me think, like, I'm getting war flashbacks to watching, I'm getting more flashbacks to watching Fate Zero and watching everyone kind of fall into despair and stuff. So it kind of was making me go like, oh boy, here comes the Tragedy and Fate leitmotif. Oof. A Saber anime is money in the bank. Oh, for sure it is. Like, they'd be foolish not to do a Fate Root anime eventually. I mean, I see why they wouldn't do that, but, I'm kind of just, like, telepathically communicating to them, please, UFO Table, please, make a Fate Root anime, I beg of you. I would watch it. I would watch it from day one. I need to see my Saber. I need to see my Saber in, like, gorgeously animated Saber. It's not enough for her to be just in Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel or whatever. I need to see a Fate Root. But to be fair, Saber has had a lot of really beautiful cameos in other Fate anime as well. Like, she had a really good, she's pretty centric. Arturia is pretty centric in the Camelot movies and stuff, which I'm really excited for as well. And she's got some really good cameos in Apocrypha. Yeah. No, she's really been getting a lot of good stuff. She deserves it. I love Saber. Oh, actually, speaking of Saber and Heaven's Feel and stuff, that reminds me. Probably my favorite scene that was exclusive to the movie and not, like, in the visual novel or whatever is, like, how do I put this? It's the scene where, towards the end, Saber is trying to, get towards the Grail and stuff, and she just looks and she's really desperately trying to get the Holy Grail, and then she meets Saber Alter. That was a really gorgeous scene. It was really sad, too, like, just seeing her look so desperate to get the Grail and be like, I need this, I need to have this so that I can become, so that I can have my wish granted and so that I can, restart everything from the beginning and not be king anymore, was really sad, and her being just forced to confront her own darkness as Saber Alter just made me go, oh, Saber. I'm probably gonna feel this way for the next two films too. Like, I'm not looking forward towards that to that Ryder and Saber fight ending. Like, I know for a fact that I'm gonna be really sad. Yeah. But yeah, no, Fate in general has just been getting a lot of really quality anime adaptations. Like, there's the Babylonia anime adaptation as well, which has, like, phenomenal Sakuga and stuff, and it's a very good and straight adaptation of of the singularity in FGO. So there's that. And there's what other animations? There's Fate Extra Last Encore, which I know has kind of a bad rap amongst the Fate people, most of the Fate fandom, but I personally really liked it because I think it was a really good what if scenario for Fate Extra, and I really like how it was just like, yeah, Haku bros, we're winning! Like, it was like, yeah, Naru has two hands. She loves both male and female Hakuno. We're not, we're gonna double down on the fact that Naru is bisexual. Yeah, and I really love that for it. You go, Naru. I love you. Yeah, and then there's, of course, Emiya Gohan. How could I forget Emiya Gohan? The sweetest anime ever. Like, it's just about, like, if you want... I see some people clamoring for a slice of life Fate anime, and, well, Emiya Gohan is just that. It's just, like, the characters chilling and making nice food and doing fun things together. And it's really gorgeously animated, too. Like, UFO Table also worked on this anime, and it also shows. Yeah. It's really cute. And the manga it's based off of is also very sweet as well. Yeah. And then there's Carnival Phantasm with its, really funny in-jokes with both Tsukihime and Fate. It's fun. It's all great. Fate's just been getting a lot of great adaptations in general and deserves it. What is the Holy Grail in Fate? A cup, Jesus' wife, or something else? So I guess to put it simply, like, the Holy Grail is kind of like an omnipotent wish-granting device. It's just kind of a term used for that. Like, sometimes it manifests as, like, a golden cup, like you'd see in, like, Fate Zero and, I guess to a lesser extent, Fate Stay Night. But, and I guess also in, Fate Grand Order, but sometimes the Grail manifests as different things as well. Like, technically speaking, in Fate Extra, the Holy Grail is the Moon Cell, which is this, like, supercomputer that can grant any wish to any wizard fighting, that sort of thing. And in Apocrypha, there's this concept known as the Greater Grail, which I think is like a different take on the on making the Holy Grail possible. But to put it in the simplest of terms, it is just a terminology used for an omnipotent wish-granting device. That's it. Although all of the world's cringe could also be accurate, let's be true. I watched Zero and people just started saying Anger Magnew out of nowhere and I didn't know what they were on about. Yeah, that's kind of why you should have probably gone into Fate Stay Night before Fate Zero, because Anger Magnew is intrinsically, Anger Magnew is just like all the evils of the world and stuff, and he's kind of trapped in the Holy Grail, which is corrupted by him and stuff. And Kira really wants to see Anger Magnew, all the evils of the world, be born and destroy the world and stuff. So if he's basically just like all the evils of the world, that's what you really need to know about him. Yeah. How do I put this? Yeah. Actually, they do go into Anger Magnew's concept more in Fate Hollow Ataraxia, and they really humanize him a lot more. He's a really interesting character in his own right. Like, yeah, I haven't actually played Hollow Ataraxia yet, but it's kind of at the top of my list in terms of Fate entries I want to get into, because it's basically like, it's a semi-sequel to Fate Stay Night, and it's also really good, and it kind of has a lot of fun slice of life scenarios. Yeah, it's really good. I just gave up on the adaptation of Hollow Ataraxia. Well, you never know if you don't try. I mean, you could give up, like, a lot of people gave up on the idea that there was going to be a Tsukihime remake, and boom, lo and behold, on New Year's, they announced that there would be a Tsukihime remake. It's coming out this summer. So, with Fate, you never know. You could just be waiting a really long time, and boom, we get a Hollow Ataraxia adaptation. Yeah. And with Karen recently coming into, like, FGO and, Hollow Ataraxia recently getting a portable release and stuff, I feel like it's only a matter of time. I feel like it really does deserve the anime treatment because, it would be interesting. Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of Dean's, I hear, like, discussion on Dean's Stay Night, by the way, like, on just Dean's Stay Night in general, and, I give Dean's Stay Night a lot of flack, but, for the time being, quality-wise in terms of animation and stuff, it actually wasn't bad at all for a Dean anime. In fact, it was quite good, especially, like, the you know, the Dean Unlimited Blade Works anime that came soon after it. Like, for the time, it was not bad at all. It just hasn't aged super well in light of, like, you know, the Unlimited Blade Works re-adaptation and the Heaven's Feel adaptation. Because, like, you know, there are a lot higher standards for Fate series now. And, there's a lot of, there's a lot higher standards and a lot of higher expectations for what's involved in a Fate series now, and kind of Densei Night doesn't quite make the cut it used to anymore. Keep in mind that it was also made when, you know, it was also made when Fate Stay Night was mainly just a property of visual novels, and it didn't have all those other spin-offs it had, and it didn't have quite the power it has now in the anime industry, in the anime, manga, and games industry. So there is that to note, yeah. And there is some, like, really good stuff about Densei Night as well. Like, there's one thing you should definitely not shit on it for is the soundtrack. Like, the soundtrack by, I believe it was, I'm trying to remember who did the soundtrack, is really gorgeous. Like, I listened to La Sola a lot. It's a really gorgeous piece, and you got, other really beautiful pieces like Kishito Odo no Hokori and stuff like that. It's got a really beautiful soundtrack, and I really wish, you know, more people would listen to it, because it's really pretty. I actually really want to cover La Sola someday, because it's so beautiful, and it's a Saber song! Why not? Dean also did Konosuba. That's the only time their quality actually added to the show. I feel like modern Dean shows don't have quite the level of quality, and I say quality in quotations here, that they used to. Like, I feel like modern Dean shows are kind of passable at best. Konosuba just kind of is notable for its kind of madcap animation style that it's kind of famous for. Otherwise, it's just you know, otherwise it's just okay now. It's nothing remarkable. It doesn't have quite the level of, you know, bad quality that it used to with, like, Higurashi and stuff. Yeah. I see some discussion about Encore in the chat, too, and, like, I haven't gotten to Fate Hollow Ataraxia yet, so I can't say much on, like, what I feel about him as a character, but what I can say about him is that I find it really funny that he's so weak in Fate Grand Order. Like, he could literally just stub his toe and he'd die. He's, like, so hilariously weak, and I think the funniest thing, the creme de la creme of Encore is that he's harder to obtain as a servant. He's harder to obtain than any of the 5 stars. Like, you have such a rare chance of rolling him, and that's what I find really funny about him. Like, he's so pathetically weak, and yet, he's really funny. Yeah. It's interesting, though, because he's, like, a perfectly free servant. He's a servant you can get for free. You can just get him in the friend point gacha with no biggie. Like, but, you know, he's just insanely hard to get. That's all. What else? In Fire Emblem Heroes, you can have literal gods and planet-wrecking dragons on your team. They still get one-shot by uppity teenagers. Yeah, I feel like there's kind of that with, there's kind of that with just gacha games in general, but I feel like Fire Emblem Heroes kind of does it less well or less funnily, because, like, it's just, like, you know, kind of a collectathon with, like, different Fire Emblem characters throughout the series and stuff. I don't know, yeah. Yeah, that, Encore looking like Shiro, by the way, yeah, that's actually a plot point in, Fate Hollow Ataraxia. I won't say much more on that, but that's a legitimate plot point on why he, looks like that. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of off topic, but Dynazamon started, and it needed more time in the oven. Really? I thought it got, like, a lot of really positive reviews and stuff, so, I mean, might just be, you know, a little bit of a shaky start, but, I mean, I guess we'll see. It's a little bit early in the season, so it might be, like, you know, I haven't seen it myself, so I'm probably not the authority on, Dynazamon and stuff, but, you know, yeah, it would be be interesting to see what people's reception to it is, as it kind of goes on. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Mm. I've got a lot of reading. I've got a lot of stuff I need to get through on my Fate checklist. There's just so much reading I didn't get through. That's the thing with Fate. Like, once you get into it, you never really kind of get out because, like, first of all, studying anything about, like, history or mythology or anything like that kind of violently reminds you that Fate has kind of ingrained this stuff into your brain. Like, I don't know, when I was taking a class on East Asian and art last semester, I was constantly reminded, how do I put this? Like, in my class, I had to study a lot of East Asian art, so, like, art from, India, art from China, art from Japan and stuff, and just seeing, like, a lot of different historical figures and religious mythological concepts get thrown around and stuff, and seeing and me getting embarrassed at how much I actually recognized just made me realize how much Fate, Fate had poisoned my brain, because, I was like, oh, isn't that, like, that one main character, like, when we were talking about, like, I don't know, the Buddha and Kama and Mara and stuff, and talking about Mara, I was like, oh shit, it's like Kama and Mara from Fate Grand Order in my mind, or like, the whole concept of Samsara or Chakravarti, and I was like, it's like in Fate Extra! Ah! Yeah, no, once you get into Fate, it's already too late. You're gonna be with the series until the very end, because it's so intrinsically tied with, like, human history and mythology and stuff like that. If you have a specific interest in any, like, mythological or historical period, chances are you're going to be really interested in one particular group of the Fate cast and stuff. Like, I know that there are certain subsections of the Fate fandom that are really into the, say, the Mahabharata cast, or into the Arthuriana cast. Hi, I'm one of them. Or the Roan cast. Hi, I'm another one of them. Or stuff like that, or like, stuff like that. But, what I find really cool about Fate, unironically, though, is that even though, it kind of does take some, like, creative liberties with, like, the way it, depicts, like, some of these historical and mythological figures, it does actually get a lot of young people legitimately interested into, like, history and mythology and stuff. And what makes me, what I find particularly cool about it is that, like, in a lot of Japanese bookstores, because FGO is so ubiquitous, because it's so popular, like, they have, like, dedicated parts of those bookstores dedicated to, like, oh, so do you like this character from Fate? Then you might enjoy reading this novel, or you might enjoy reading this historical biopic, or, like, this historical piece of literature, because you like this character so much, and so you gain, like, a newfound appreciation for these characters and what they're meant to represent, and you just kind of want those and you kind of have a lot of fun with representing these characters, and the fact that they're also highly interpretable too is a lot of fun as well. It's great. It's really great. If they add Vlad's cousin as a servant, I'll start playing the game. I mean, they don't have Vlad's cousin, but they have two Vlads. They have Vlad Extra and Vlad from Apocrypha. They have two of him. So if you're okay with two Vlads, you can go into it for that. Yeah. It's great. Let me think what else. Yeah. I think it's, for me, it's gotten to the point that whenever I pick up, like, I hear any sort of mention of King Arthur back when I head back to England and stuff, like, I don't know, I read a piece of literature based on him or something like that, I immediately think, oh shit, Arturia Pendragon! How can I spin this and include, Saber in this? And yeah. How can I include, Saber in this? How can I put Saber in this context? Yeah. Or, like, you know, just reading anything about Nero, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Nero, the 5th Emperor of Rome, who is also, like, my, fate wife. Yeah, that Nero. Yeah. Fate leads you to say kind of, crazy shit like that. Yep. Yeah. But in all seriousness, it has given me a newfound appreciation for, like, history and mythology, so I really love it for that. And it's also introduced me to a lot of cool other concepts as well. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's all I really want to talk about for today. Like, you know, my mind's kind of running dry for ideas, but yeah, no, that's kind of what I was, all that I was kind of thinking about for today. Yeah. So, thank you for coming along to my stream. I really, I really appreciate it. Yeah. And, I'll see you on Sunday, since, as you know, I've canceled the, drawing stream to, do a important, opera recording tomorrow. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope to see you on Sunday, and I hope that, you know, by that point I can finally defeat Undyne the Undying. Yeah. Oh, just to answer your one last question before I go. How would Arturia, how would Arturia react to that constitutional peasant from, Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Good question. You know, I actually did a, animatic parody once of Arturia and her, knightly gang crossing the Bridge of Death. Yeah. And, how do I put this? It was really fun. It was really popularly received in the Fate fandom. I was thinking about doing a sequel with either the constitutional peasant scene or the, you know, the Frenchman scene. But I feel like if I were to put Arturia in that scene specifically, I feel like she would think, you know, I don't know how she'd react, because she's kind of the attitude that, you know, she wants to be able to, like, you know, protect the weak and stuff, and be, you know, someone who, you know, she wants to be a really good ruler, so she might ask, like, what she could do. I don't know, I definitely could see her asking, like, what she could do to help, what she could do to, you know, regain their trust in her, or, like, you know, stuff like that. I think she would generally try to hear them out and see what they'd have to say. She would be, I think she would be very genuine and sincere like that, because she really does try her best to be, you know, a perfect king. She really does try her best. Yeah. And, yeah. I would actually like to do another animatic, though, because it's been a while since I, you know, did the last one. And I'm thinking about casting, like, Robin Hood as, the unconstitutional peasant. But yeah, that's, I guess, all I have to say right now. Thank you for coming along to my stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you! And, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!